Yamin is the creator of cutting-edge tools for quilters, including the Back to Basics patchwork templates and a revolving turntable for rotary cutting called the Brooklyn Revolver. She's with us today to show how anyone can make fast and accurate quilts. Pat, what's the deal with this card trick pattern you're about to show us?
Gina, it's a really simple pattern to make. It's an old pattern and it's made up of a 9-patch. I have several of them to show you already. This is the finished block, which is a 9.5-inch square, but let me show you how the block actually is assembled and made. These are all of your pieces that you're going to be sewing together. It looks like there might be a lot of them, but with a 1/4-inch seam allowance, it goes up very nicely. These are your units. You put the 2 units together, or sometimes with a 1/4-inch square triangle, your seam would go across here. Think of, Gina, of it being sewn together very simple, of row number 1, row number 2, and row number 3. You can see on the next board, which I have, is that I have those 2 rows already sewn together. I'm going to be attaching the 3rd row, which is here, and then you have your complete block, which is here. But it's real simple to use and do. Gina, let me show you how to cut this pattern out because it is very simple. First, I want to show you that with clear acrylic templates, that you're able to see your fabric underneath should you have something that you want to fussy cut or a particular pattern. You lay it down on your fabric. I always allow myself extra fabric on the top and on the bottom of the fabric because if the fabric slides, it will be accurate for you on the bottom. I like to put a little suction cup on here, which keeps it in place. Unclick your cutter. And what I like to do first is to go back a little bit to cut. I cut straight across. I remove that strip to the side, which gets it out of my way. Then using my Brooklyn Revolver, I just turn it so you're not walking around your kitchen table or you're not standing on your head. It's that simple. And your blade, as you can see, gets rid of your extra fabric.
That is simple. Now, is it as simple to sew the pieces together as it is to cut them?
Absolutely. The pattern pieces match up absolutely perfectly every time, because you're putting the 2 pieces together and you don't need to backstitch. You're going to be sewing in a 1/4 inch, but from the very edge straight down. And if you do chain piecing, you can sew several of them together all at one time, and you open it up and you have a perfect square.
And that saves you a lot of time in the process.
Saves you a lot of time. Just remember to have thread it in your bobbin underneath, because I've often sewed several pieces together and looked at the floor without having any bobbin thread. That wasn't too fun.
Okay, now tell us about these other examples of card trick quilts.
Okay, I brought in several quilts to show you because it's a fun pattern to make, and I obviously have made several of them. This is from the collection of a black and white fabric that I have, and I threw in a red card just for a little whimsy with the quilt. This one is more of a natural and neutral color, which is a fun pattern to have, and this one I use in my dining room table. This one I just absolutely love how it turned out. It's using a collection of purple fabric, which people don't often use purples in their quilts, and I added a border going around it as well. This one is just fun. It's a nice whimsical quilt because I found fabric which has cards in it, has dice in it, and even says casino, which is really, really fun. And then the last one I brought in to show you is working with hand-dyed fabrics and with some also really bright colors, which puts it all together. Can I show you another one that I brought in with me?
I wish you would.
Okay, great. I have it hanging on the wall here, and you can see from that fabric I used 4 very high color contrast fabric, and then the background fabric has a little bit of color of each of those blocks in it, so you'll see there's a little bit of rust, blue, and green, which sets it all, which makes the cards actually pop.
The colors are gorgeous.
Thanks.
Thanks, Pat, for bringing your templates and your revolver, and for joining us today.
It was fun. Thanks a lot, Gina.
Take a tip from Pat Yamin.
At the end of a quilting project, take a 2.5-inch square, rotary cut the fabric, and put all of the pieces in a box. The next time you need a quick and easy gift or a baby quilt, use your pre-cut scraps.